I guess you could say it was like a feel-good game, right?
This was probably, in my opinion, their most complete game. Maybe close. But no, I thought I was very, very, very impressed with the Bears in this game. They're still missing, a few guys with injuries. Again, that's never an excuse, but it has to be brought up that they played without a Dunze on offense. They played without, they're still playing without Edmonds and a couple other guys on defense. Kyler Gordon out, but I don't know. I thought it was their most complete game. Defense, rattled Shedeur the whole game. I mean, Shedeur looked pretty bad at times. But again, I'm not going to just say Shedeur played bad. The Bears' defense really kind of caused that a lot too. So again, just being very opportunistic, getting some sacks, and then obviously Shedeur was also didn't, helped us out a little bit too with some of his decision making and being inaccurate. But no, I mean the defense was great. But honestly, I my biggest takeaway was how good Caleb was. With the weather, with the Browns' defense, I think the majority of people, myself included, thought it was going to be really just run. And even though Caleb's numbers at the end of the day don't pop out when you look at the yardage, for instance, but the Bears kind of took a big lead here in the second half, and then they kind of just ran the ball at the end. But in the beginning, they threw it early and often. Caleb was looking fantastic. His accuracy has improved over the last couple of games. This one he was very good. And we also had a couple of drops too. So I know Monangai alone dropped, a couple of passes. Bird maybe had another one too, but no, I thought it was one of Caleb's best, if not his best game, just by eye test. He looked fantastic. And again, I know we're going to bring up that great throw he made, and obviously that needs to be talked about. It was amazing, and I think Chino actually posted something that I saw that was cool, where it looked a lot like the Joe Montana throw from like 1980 against Dallas, like almost exactly to the T. Obviously except Caleb's was probably a little harder because there's a couple of defenders in the end zone, so it looks obviously a lot cooler. But also, maybe the decision wasn't the greatest. But the way I look at it is this: like, I know a lot of people are saying it was kind of lucky, or it was not a good decision. But at the end of the day, the best of the best, the people with the best arms make those throws, right? The Josh Allens of the world make those throws. The Mahomes of the world make those throws, and sometimes they live with it if it gets intercepted or tipped up. And I think Caleb's proving that, he's still, again, even though he's not perfect and he's still got to improve on a couple areas, but those kind of throws are like his thing. I mean, he's showing it when he's like rolling out, and he's got a great arm, he's got a great cannon. So to me, it was still a sick throw at the end of the day. Again, maybe not the greatest decision. Maybe it was one of those times where you're like, oh shit, and then like all of a sudden it gets caught for a touchdown, and you're excited. But I don't know, man. I thought, like I said, I thought Caleb looked fantastic. The whole team looked fantastic. It was a really, really, really good win.
Yeah, it was like I would say it was one of the first games where at a certain point you're like, we could probably watch Red Zone for the rest of the
I can only imagine too, like if you were at the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you were at that game, it was freezing.
Like,
I think at halftime, like, I think the Bears got this game.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like the first game where you weren't worried, really. You were kind of just, you're just watching it unfold.
But I think like the first half, you were like kind of just upset because it's like we probably like we should put these guys away already. Like we're like kind of keeping them in the game kind of thing. But I don't know. But thankfully it wasn't. And then we had a little bit of a scare at halftime with Caleb getting up and limping.
Yeah,
it kind of scared everyone a bit. But he came back in the second half and looked just as good. So I was very excited. I think it's a great time to be a Bears fan. Obviously the Packers then not too long after lose as well, so to get us back in first place, and let me just be 100% honest here. Like, I am the biggest Bears fan in the world. We hate the Packers, to a certain extent, but I'm not the type of person that roots for players to get injured. That's never anything. And honestly, like seeing Mahomes get hurt and then seeing Parsons get hurt, definitely the NFL doesn't like seeing two of the best players, get injured like that on the same play. So, definitely no ill will on the Packers with injuries or anything like that. Obviously it's going to help us in the next game, which, is great. And it's kind of a lucky thing too for us there. That's good. But at the same time, like, yeah, I'm not rooting for that or cheering for that on. So, I would have preferred actually, it'd be better almost to beat them full strength and just be able to say, fuck that, we beat you. And, like, obviously if we beat them, then they're going to have that, oh, well, Parsons didn't, that kind of thing, which, again, I think is BS too. Because at the end of the day, right now, we're still not being shown much respect. The Packers are still favored to beat us by 1.5 points. And don't forget the game is in Chicago. Mm-hmm. They don't have Parsons. Mm-hmm. Tucker Kraft's out. So, yeah, I mean.
Chances are better, though.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And honestly, I think that this is a very winnable game. And I think this is a game that I think most Bear fans probably agree with me that, all right, I've been saying the whole season that next year was the year that they're going to go all in. They've been proving this year, especially the last few weeks, that they belong. Even though they lost that game to the Packers, like, it kind of seemed like they kind of like let one go kind of thing. Like if they would have just got off to maybe a quicker start, you had a couple of those, those big plays that Love hit. But remember what I said in the last episode was if you let Love get comfortable back there and you give him time, the one thing he's been shown to be able to do is throw the deep ball, and he killed us on it. So props to him there. No hate. Now obviously again I said he always is gonna throw one or two passes that you're kind of like, wait, what? Like he threw the one right to the to CJ. But at the end of the day, like he did make those big plays. So hey, no hate there when it comes to that. I still don't think he's elite by any means or anything like that. But I'm gonna give him his flowers in that game. But then again, like if you look at it in the second half, the Bears finally, started dedicating to the run. They started wearing down Green Bay's defense a little bit. Caleb made a couple of just awesome eye-popping throws. One to Kmet where he threw it over his shoulder, and then that touchdown that he somehow got through into Zacchaeus' hands. And again, we were driving on that play. Personally, I didn't like the play call. I thought the Bears should have just try to run it again on 4th and 1. They still had 2 timeouts left, and apparently it was the same play that they did against the Eagles where they threw the touchdown to Kmet, but obviously this one unfortunately was intercepted. So all credit to the Packers, they beat us. But again, that's the thing is, like, even though we sit here and say that this game is more winnable, that we should win it, but again at the end of the day, I think if you're the Bears, 10-4, all this feels great. It's not to take anything out of it, but at the end of the day, when it comes to Saturday, we have to beat the Packers, man. We've been saying it, right? Like, you got to beat the Packers. Like, if you want people to take you seriously, if you don't want to be a home dog on a Saturday night when Parsons is out, you have to, show that you can beat them. So, like, and I actually would like to beat them, not even like on a last second. I'd like to beat them convincingly. Like, to me, that would be the ultimate.
They're a great team, right? They're a great team.
Yeah.
But, like, so without them now, would you say they're just a good team?
Yeah, I mean, like I think I mentioned at the last podcast was that top to bottom, as much as I hated to admit it, they had a better roster. Player for player, they had a better roster than we did, right? But yeah, I mean, losing Parsons is a big loss for them. So, their defense is solid. Don't get me wrong, it's good even without him, but he made the defense so much better because he made offenses have to account for him with double teams, and really changed the emphasis on defense for them, and it allowed them to kind of, maybe take some more chances and things when they had a little bit, where they weren't receivers weren't being able to try to get open for as long because you have someone as good as Micah Parsons that's rushing. So now without that there and without someone commanding a double team, this could change obviously what that defense could do. So now you look at the Bears, and now maybe they don't have to double team. Maybe they can do run some more plays that they maybe couldn't run 2 weeks ago with him being there because he's such a big focal point. So now without taking him away, maybe now the Bears can get a little bit more creative. Again, I don't know how much Parsons does stopping the run. So, that right now their biggest focus is going to be stopping the run, especially with what we did in the second half of that game and now with Parsons not available. Because if the Bears are able to run like they did in that second half, then it's really, really going to open up Caleb in the play action pass, and that's where I think we could really, really kill him. But if we can't run, then obviously that helps them out with being able to maybe just rush, 4-man rush, not have to blitz, and and be able to get to Caleb without having to take any serious chances.
So you're saying Loveland is going to eat, probably?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I don't see why not. I think. I think that my hope here again is that we're able to run still like we were before, possess the ball because again, they're still a pretty good offense. They still got a really good run game, and obviously Love is still pretty good. So you want to make sure that you're controlling the ball, controlling the time of possession, and then that opens up the play action pass, and then hitting hopefully some big plays. What you don't want to do is be out there, get 3rd and long and have 3 and outs and then give the ball back to Green Bay and then letting them dictate the tempo. So that's what you don't want to do.
Yeah. I think I feel pretty comfortable now with Caleb, with most of the decisions that he makes. And I'd say even just the coaching. Well, how do you feel about the coaching as of now?
Yeah. I mean, I think the coaching is primarily the difference,
In terms of playing calling, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I think obviously the players on the team might be better now and whatnot, but I think that the main reason for the turnaround is Ben Johnson, the coaching. I mean, you look at the difference between last year. We lost a lot of close games, right? We lost a lot of games where we make a mistake or a mental mistake at the end. So if you think about it, even though they only won 5 games, if you were really paying attention to the whole season, a lot of those games, you had the Hail Mary game, you had the game with the Lions when they were about to, go downfield and they screwed that up. So there was a lot of games where they could have won and kind of lost at the end. And I feel now when you have good coaching, you win those games, and you've seen it all season.
You looked at the playoff picture so far?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing though. That's the thing that sucks is that obviously a lot of happiness. At about 6:30 p.m. on Sunday, all Bears fans were really pumped up, including myself. We just won convincingly. Green Bay just lost. Again, not rooting for anyone to get hurt, but obviously that's big news for us to trying to beat them this week. So, the thing though is you still got to keep it in perspective. Is that when you wake up on Monday, you're still on that hangover of happiness, but then you go, all right, wait a minute. So we're 2nd seed now, but if we don't take care of business on Saturday, now we're back to 7th, and now we're in danger of missing the playoffs. So this game is big. It's big. You know what I mean? There's zero excuse in this game if you lose. You have to go out there. You have to win this game. You've already proven that you kind of belong in the conversation. Now you got to go out and take care of business, especially when they're, arguably their best player and their most key player is out. You got to now not beat them. And I'm hoping, like I said, is we don't just beat them by 3. I hope we beat them by 10. I hope we beat them by 17. I hope we beat them convincingly. And then that would really, really get the hopes and everything up that much more. But again, if we lose this game, now you're back to square one. Again, if you just go full picture, right, then yeah, you can go, hey, we were supposed to win 7.5 games, right? Even if you win 10, 11 games this year and you make the playoffs, you're going to be happy, right? But, I'm sure at this point, Bears fans want to be a little bit greedy. No, fuck that. We almost beat them. We're at home. We're 10-4. We just whooped Cleveland's ass. And now we want to take care of business against Green Bay. And we want to show everyone that we belong. You know what I mean? Now you don't want to have that mentality of but if we lose, no. Let's actually believe we're going to win, and let's win convincingly. And that's what I'm hoping they do.
You think you take a page from anything the Broncos did that could probably help us?
I don't know. That was I thought that was kind of a weird game. I thought the Packers, especially they still had Micah, have a really good defense, right? And Denver has a really good defense, and Love's been playing better overall this year, but Love and Knicks have had their moments of up and down. But yeah, I mean, it was weird. Like the beginning, it was like they were like trading touchdowns, and I'm like, man, I thought this was going to be like a low scoring game. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Love hit a couple big throws and like downfield early in the game. And then I know Jacobs was running it well. He hit a long touchdown. He caught a touchdown. Jacobs did. So it was really interesting first half. And then in the second half, Denver's defense really started kind of getting to him. And that's the thing. It's about rattling him, right? So like I think Love's first interception, he tried to throw a deep ball. I think it was to Watson, and it was a great defense. I think it was Surtain made a great catch, and then Watson fell and got hurt trying to catch it. I think, and then the second one, but no, I mean. What happened was especially at the end of the game, if you were watching on Red Zone or whatever, the Denver Broncos were now able to pin their ears back and they were just blitzing them because it was they're up by 8 and Love is trying to make something happen to tie the game, and they were really really getting pressure on him, and it was not really allowing him to set his feet or get time. So I mean that seems to be the whole blueprint is. Yeah, Love like most quarterbacks, if you give him time, he can kill you. He's got good arm talent. But if you get in his face, if you get some pressure, he can get rattled. He can be prone to make a mistake or throw a ball up in into no man's land. So
you get annoyed about when people say FGB, and then like at the state that we're in, but like
wait, when what?
When you're in the game, and then like we lose really badly.
Oh
and
yeah,
then, like, when
the FTP,
the FGB.
No, or the you mean GBS?
No, saying
chant Green Bay sucks.
Oh, is that what people say?
Yeah. No,
Green Bay sucks.
Yeah. Well, that's like that's been like okay. So now, if we beat them at home. And anyone who's listening who's going to go to the game, which I'm unfortunately not going to be there, if we win that game, please, by all means, chant that shit as loud as you can, embarrass them, and make them feel like crap, right? But if we lose, it's so embarrassing. Like, I've been to Bears-Packers game, and we lose the game, and our record has been way worse, and we're walking down that tunnel, and people are still chanting that. And in my head, I'm like, dude, they just whooped our ass. Like, why are we chanting that shit? Like, I get that we hate them, but it's like, like, I don't know. Again, it is what it is. People are always going to do it, so I'm not changing it. But that's why I just want them to win so bad, because that's when you chant that and you actually just can pump your chest out and actually feel like you're chanting it because you actually mean it, or like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we got you now, that kind of thing. Still, the respect. I mean, they're still favored against us by 1.5. So that's why I'm saying, like, again, I'm saying the Bears should win this game, and there's no excuses. And if we lose, like we people should talk shit. Packers fans should, whatever. But if we win, like, I don't want to hear any of these. Oh, well, Parsons is out. Like, there's no excuse, because you're still favored. You're favored to beat us at our home turf without Micah Parsons. And part of it is because we haven't, frankly, proven in the last few years that we can beat them consistently. But if we do beat them and we do take care of business, that's when, like, it starts to really change. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's when we really start getting taken serious. Like, I just saw a ranking. You pull it up. I just saw a ranking for best teams in the NFL. From The Ringer. Put The Ringer. They literally still have the Bears as the 11th best team in the league. And I think they had the Lions like 7th and the Packers 4th. And I'm like, the Packers just lost. And they just lost Micah Parsons. And they got him as the 4th best team in the league?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that just doesn't make any sense. And then you got the Lions at 7th, and they're 2 games behind us. And then you got the Bears at 11th. Like, man, that just seems like a little bit of hate towards the Bears there. But again, these are the things where people still want to see it. You still want to see us beat the Packers. And until we beat the Packers consistently, this is the kind of shit you're going to see. So, man, it would just be so satisfying to take them down. You know what I mean? So,
Who do you think might eat the most?
who should be getting the ball the most?
Yeah.
The running backs. I mean, to me, it should be a dose of Swift and Monangai, and hopefully you can do you can replicate what you did in the second half of the first meeting, and just run, and what you do is you either pick up a first down on 2 runs, and if you don't, you have a 3rd and 1, you have a 3rd and 2. Now Caleb can trick you a little bit. Now you don't know what's coming. But if you don't run it well and you're stuffed and now you're at 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, or you have a penalty even worse and you're backed up, now the Packers can blitz. Now the Packers can do some things and you can look predictable. You don't want that to happen. So in my opinion, you need to run the ball, and I think Swift and Monangai are going to be the keys. They need to be fed the ball consistently the whole game, not just in the second half like we did last time. I think in the first half some of our play calling was a little cute, and it allowed the Packers to dominate time of possession, hit us with those big plays. So the second half obviously was a lot better because we were able to dictate time of possession. We were able to run the ball and control time of possession, and I think that's what led to the success that we had, and letting Caleb, kind of free form and run out and throw some of those nice passes he had.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see some, a couple of trick plays here and there.
But the thing is, like, what allows you to do those kind of plays is not having to overly worry about one player on defense. So like you're not able to do those kind of plays, or not do them a lot when you have Micah Parsons that you have to, you're losing sleep over and you're having 2 guys try to block. So now that you don't have to worry about that, I think it does open up the playbook. And now, now Ben Johnson might go, okay, well maybe we can try this now because we don't got to worry. We don't got to worry about this, and maybe we can use Cole maybe in a different way. Maybe he doesn't have to chip and help with blocking as much. Maybe he can go out and go out for some more passes too. So I'm very, very excited, man. Like I said, I haven't been this excited for a Bears game in a long time. This was really going to mean a lot. So
I would have to open up a bottle or two.
Yeah.
A special occasion.
Yeah, the line hasn't moved much either. I think it's been 1.5 for. It's pretty much opened up that way.
So yeah, let's get a prediction. So
yeah, my prediction is I don't know. I feel like I predicted the Packers were going to win. They did win. Even though we didn't do a pod, obviously my prediction was going to be a Bears win against Cleveland, so that would have been right. And I'm gonna go out on a limb, man. And again, same thing. If I'm right, and I'm hoping, because I'm sure a lot of our Bears fans are going to agree with me here. We're all going to be very happy. But if I'm wrong, then again, I'm going to be here eating my words next week. But I haven't been wrong yet this year. I think the Bears are going to win. I think they've been playing better. I honestly think that in that second half against the Packers, I think the Bears just gained a lot of confidence. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even though they lost the game, you can just see them. They kind of left the field kind of being like, you know what? I think we got this team. I think that we're not intimidated by this team. Like we got off to a slow start. We fucked up, but we had them. So this is the game where they got to go out and prove that that's the case. And if they do, again, sky's the limit. So like I said, I just feel like coming off this win, I think the Bears looked fantastic. Green Bay didn't look terrible against Denver by any means, but again, losing Micah was a big blow for them too. So the Bears should come out and win this game, in my opinion. So I like the Bears to win this game at home. I think it'll be a decently high scoring game. I think that it's going to depend. Again, if we're able to run the ball, then I would see it's taken to be more of a low-scoring game to be controlling the possession and keeping the possessions low. If not, it could get high-scoring. The Packers' secondary, it can be a little susceptible at times, and especially without Micah, Caleb could maybe carve them up a little bit. But, yeah, my thinking, let's go Bears 27-24 on a last-second field goal. How about that? 27-24 game-winning field goal by Santos.
Yeah,
even though like I've been cramming for Santos to get dumped for a while, he hasn't been very good. But for some reason, I think he's going to make the game winner. 27-24.
You hear that, everybody? You had it pretty close the last game, so I think yeah, people are like, yeah, man, have this guy cook up a parlay for me.
Well, shit, man. I definitely hope I'm right this time. Yeah, 27-24. At first we were worried about the offensive line. We're like, hey, Braxton Jones and blah, blah, blah. And, Poles hasn't done enough and he's missing on these picks and blah, blah. But now you look at the last few weeks and, you've had Trapillo in there and he's looked very good. He's been doing really good in both facets, in run blocking and in pass blocking. Obviously he is a rookie. He's made a couple mistakes here and there, but I think he's been very, very good. And so, yeah, now you look at it and you go, wow, man, maybe we hit on Trapillo. Luther Burden's still looking fantastic. Colston Loveland's getting more action. He's looking good. So now you go, look, oh, man, this draft's looking really good, And so that's why I think that sometimes we have to, temper our expectations. We have to wait till end of seasons to really evaluate some of his moves and how they're doing. I think that he's definitely missed on some trades. He's missed on some picks, but I think every GM kind of does. It's very hard to hit on everything, and so as of right now, we're 10-4, and we're in first place, and so, some of these picks are hitting, and some of these signings, especially in the offensive line, are hitting. So hey, it's time to give Poles a little bit of love. And obviously, we're going to be the first ones to shit on him or critique him if something goes bad. But, hey, let's give him a little bit of love, too, because the team's winning. The team seems to like him and rally around him. And some of the signings and some of the picks he's made have hit. So, yeah.
Was DJ Moore one of his trades that he made?
He did. It was. So, and again, this is how many times have we said this, too? We especially I think is because when we watch mainstream media, that's what they do best is overreact. Am I right? They overreact for everything, right? First it was Odunze. Remember, he was getting all the catches. Then, is Odunze, well, is he mad? His dad's mad. He hasn't got. Then he had 2 big games. Then he got hurt, right? And then DJ Moore, should we trade DJs? And he had a good game, and then people shut up for a while. Then a couple more games where he didn't. Now, should we didn't trade DJ. We should have traded DJ. He's making too much money. What's wrong? And then, look, he gets 2 touchdowns. So, at the end of the day, let's just try to take it week to week. Let's try to keep winning games regardless of how it's happening. Let's not worry about player statistics and making people happy, because at the end of the day, you have a lot of mouths to feed on offense. So there's going to be games where Burden goes off. There's going to be a game where Odunze. There's going to be a game where Moore. There's going to be a game where Loveland. There's so many weapons that not everyone's going to go off every week. We need to understand that. And at the end of the day, as long as we're winning, that should be all that matters.
Yeah, a lot of talks about, what he's being paid, and whether it's worth it to keep him.
Yeah, but look, we got to think of it in this way too. He got paid. When he got paid, he earned that money. He played well before, and let's be completely honest. Is at that time when he got paid, he was the focal point. He was the main receiver. We didn't really have another 1B or B or maybe even C. It was him, and he got a ton of targets because he was our guy. He was the only guy. Now, again, there's so many weapons. He does a good job in opening up other things for other guys like Odunze, et cetera. There's going to be games where he's able to get open. So I think that what we're starting to realize is that maybe there's nothing wrong with DJ. Maybe it's just, hey, there's going to be games where he ends up being more of a what's the word I'm looking for? A decoy to get other guys open, and then there's going to be games where he does get open and he's the focal point and he gets passes. But again, at the end of the day, if we're still winning games and he's obviously shown us that he's capable of still doing this, then we shouldn't be worrying.
Yeah, because people always try to argue it's if you get paid this much, we should see this much production. Do you believe that?
In some point, I get what people saying or what people are saying, but at the end of the day, again, if there's only so many passes that can be distributed, and especially when you're playing an offense like Ben Johnson's, it's predicated on running the ball a lot and setting up play action, there's going to be times where Caleb only throws 25 passes. And if those 25 passes, they're going to be spread out. And so if 5 guys get 5 targets, then that's all you're going to get, 5 targets. Whatever you do with those is what it is. Whether it's 3 catches for 10 yards or 3 catches for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns, you're going to get what you're going to get. So I think that's what happens when you start having more weapons. Like you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, right? They've had issues with their top receiver AJ Brown. And AJ Brown is considered an elite receiver. And there's games where he's only getting 3 targets, but they're winning. So then again, same thing's happening. Well, I'm not getting the ball enough. I should be getting the ball. I'm better. But yeah, there's going to be some games where he goes off. There's going to be games where he doesn't. And that's what happens when you have Saquon, when you have Devontae Smith, when you have Dallas Goedert, when you have tons of weapons, that sometimes you're not going to get 12, 13 targets every game.
Yeah. I think at the very least, that's as long as it's not affecting the team negatively in terms of like how what his attitude is.
Yeah.
Like at least it's not infiltrating into just like the mood of the place.
No.
Like no one's talking about it really.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the post game and you look at them in the locker room, everyone just still seems upbeat and happy, and even DJ, spoke up, after the game and everything. And I think it's his first winning season as a player, which is pretty crazy because he played in Carolina and then the Bears. But it's like it's going to be his first winning season. So yeah, you could see he's still happy, and this team just definitely seems to be more about the ultimate goal, which is winning in the division, going to the playoffs, and ultimately trying to win a Super Bowl, and maybe not so much on the selfish things like stats.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite receiver diva from back in the day?
So I mean, but is your question is which one I like the most, or
maybe like the one that kind of just
or which one is the biggest diva?
No, the one that maybe you just particularly or were entertained the most.
Okay,
with.
So for me, again, everyone's different. For me, it was always Ocho Cinco, and instead of Chad Johnson. I had him in fantasy multiple times, but he was really fucking good. Like Ocho Cinco was good, but I felt like his antics were more fun. You know what I mean? I don't know if you remember some of his. He did the little tap, the Irish tap dance, or he did the one where he proposed to the girl, or the one where he put the Hall of Fame jacket on. Like his were funny and I think were more lovable kind of plays. Where someone like T.O. was a diva, and obviously T.O.'s way better in another stratosphere when it comes to all-time greats compared to Ocho Cinco. But my point is, his sometimes took away from the game. Sometimes they were at wrong times, or they were really pissing other people off, and there was to ruffle feathers. Whereas Ocho Cinco seemed to be a little bit more fun.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, well, he I don't even know if I necessarily call it he would be categorized as a diva because he didn't. I don't think he was.
He was sort of.
He was upsetting.
He always would say, "Give me the ball. I'm open," that kind of thing. He was sort of a diva, but not in a way where it negatively a lot affected the team. Whereas some of these other guys had that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some other ones here. I mean, obviously the more recent ones like Antonio Brown.
That was fucking crazy. He definitely became a diva. Randy Moss never really was too much of a diva. I mean, maybe a couple instances, but he was usually pretty good. T.O. obviously was a really bad one. Brandon Marshall, I wouldn't really say was a diva. He had some issues and stuff in the locker room at times, but he wasn't really if I remember being a hardcore diva type of receiver. Yeah,
I mean, Tyreek Hill was kind of a little bit of one. I don't know if you saw how he tweeted about Caleb, whatever.
Yeah,
dude, get that fucking guy out of here, dude. No one wants you.
Damn, I'm just remembering his injury. Ooh, that was so bad.
Oh my god. That one, what was the one that happened last week? Whatever. The end of his career. I was at tight end.
Oh man, Ertz.
Oh, Ertz, dude.
That was so sad. It was a dirty hit too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, football's tough, man. And that's another thing is football's hard because you also got to battle the injuries, man. And that's the thing is that Packers fans obviously are feeling like shit about the Micah loss, and again, we haven't lost anyone who's that good, obviously Micah. But if you look at the Bears as a whole, there was a game where we were playing with all backup linebackers. We had Jalen Johnson miss tons of games. We had Kyler Gordon miss tons of games. We had Odunze miss a few games. So the Bears have dealt with quite a bit of injuries this year and have been able to persevere. So injuries are part of a game, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to overcome them, and that's what Green Bay is going to try to do. But so I said, is this game is just going to be so important, man. I can't wait, dude.
I mean, yeah, on top like just this week, and then even like the week after that. In my opinion, we're still kind of on this like roller coaster.
Oh, I mean, next week's game is almost even bigger because this game, if you win it, yeah, it's awesome. You're in first place still, but like San Francisco is 10-4 also. So, dude, that's a big game, and I think we can beat them, but we can't have a lapse. We can't lose. That's going to be a huge game on Sunday night. Man, here we are, 2 weeks later, and the winter meetings come and gone, and the Cubs haven't done anything. So, like, it's
Is that normal?
I mean, it's become normal the last few years. It's very upsetting. I mean, you have multiple guys. I don't know if you want to pull up some of the signings, but you have multiple guys that the Cubs could have used that we didn't get. Dylan Cease was the name that we brought up. He went to Toronto, 7 years, 121, I think it was. 7 years, about 210. Again, at the end of the day, $30 million a year seems like a ton, but this is a different era, and it was somebody you could use. I mean, maybe the Cubs didn't want to give a guy a 7-year deal. Again, with the incoming, strike or work stoppage that might be coming in, maybe they didn't want to give somebody. But again, this is what I've been saying. The Cubs are just, they've signed a couple of bargain, bullpen guys. Today they re-signed Caleb Thielbar. Again, good moves. I'm not saying they're not good moves, but what are we doing to take ourselves to the next, to the next, to the next level? Like, what are we doing to go from the team that just lost one win away to getting to the NLCS? What are we doing to actually get to the point where we're, competing for World Series? And I don't see it. And it's just sad that the Cubs keep doing the same thing. They're signing bargain guys, hoping they pan out. They're not taking any risks. They're not going out and putting money into free agents. And again, if we were a Pirates, if we were a middle market kind of team, then I understand. But this is a big market team with a lot of money who's almost contending, and we still don't feel like we need to be up front and trying to get a big name free agent. Frankly, it's very disappointing. Well, I mean, you have King is still available from San Diego. I don't know if you want to go to MLB. I usually go to MLBTradeRumors.com, and it gives you a pretty good update on anything that's kind of going on. Again, I usually try to avoid any of the noise on like social media. There's a lot of pages that have like really fake or stupid rumors that don't make any sense. But looks like the Rangers just spent more money. They just signed reliever Alexis Diaz. Scroll down a little bit more. Keep scrolling down. There should be more news. Or here, maybe you clicked on one story. Go back. Yeah, no, there really hasn't been much going on since the Mets signed Polanco. But yeah, that's the Cubs signing Holby Minor, which again, this guy was pretty decent last year. So again, they're looking to bargain kind of signings to help the bullpen, which is fine if you're also making the moves that are going to get you to the next level. And like you said, most of our fans were out there and agreed with me when it came to, the lack of urgency and the lack of money spending by the Cubs front office. But yeah, there were still one or two people there defending the front office, which I just find mind-boggling. It's almost like it was like Tom Ricketts' secretary or his someone that works for him that's out here like trying to defend them not having the money or something like that, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, like it's just very sad. Again, another offseason where you're hoping the Cubs are going to do something. They still haven't. Obviously, there's still time left, but I don't know what they're going to do, and I don't feel very confident that they're going to do anything. Tucker is pretty much, from anything you see, pretty much gone. They're not going to re-sign him, and so that money's there, and I don't know what they're doing with it. So I'm still hoping that they do something. I'm hoping that they, I don't know if they're going to trade for somebody. I don't know if they're going to trade one of our guys. Time will tell, and in a couple weeks, we'll revisit this when this is all over before spring training starts, we'll really get a deep dive into what our team looks like and then predict where we think they can go. But as of now, they literally have done nothing. So as of now, if we lose Tucker and what we've added, the team, in my opinion, is worse than it was when its season ended. The Bulls. I think we in the last episode we went through a few upcoming games that they were going to have, and I don't think they didn't go that well anyways. But I think when we last did the pod, it would have been 2 weeks ago. So it would have been on. We did it December 1st, right? Oh no, wait, what day would it have been? No, it would have been December 2nd, I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
So we talked about their upcoming games. They had the Nets, they had the Pacers, they had the Warriors, the Hornets, and the Pelicans. And I think what we had said was that they should beat teams like the Nets. They should beat teams like the Pacers. We thought they would lose to the Warriors. They should beat the Hornets, and they should beat the Pelicans. And embarrassingly, look at this. They lose to the Nets by 10. They get smoked by the Pacers by 15. The Warriors absolutely embarrass us by 32. You barely beat the Hornets by 3, and then you lose to the Pelicans by 10. And look, I get it. The Pelicans, again, it seems like Zion Williamson always ends up coming back from injury against us, and he played. But again, that's still no excuse to losing to that team. I think they have 5 wins this season, and 2 of them are against us, which is just pathetic. I honestly, at this point, I talking about the Bulls just gives me a headache. I don't even really want to talk about them anymore. And then if you look at their next games, you got Cleveland tomorrow, you got Cleveland Friday. I mean, that's not looking good. And then you got the Hawks Sunday and the Hawks Tuesday. I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't even know if I can predict them winning games anymore, especially these 4. I mean, if they had shown me something, but the way that they're playing, I'm going to have to see them start winning games again for me to really start buying into this team. It's been pretty pathetic. Well, I mean, the schedule is just not going to get easy. Not getting easier. So, I don't know. They're going to have to start beating some good teams. Maybe they're just going to get up for good games or good teams. And again, they weren't getting up for these other teams. But we'll have to see.
So that's that.
Yeah. But, I mean, the Bulls, like I said, I just don't have much else to say. It's been very bad. There's not a lot of good things to talk about.
Well, at least we have interest elsewhere that actually matters. So I mean,
right, exactly. Yeah, but the Bulls, like I said, hopefully at some point in the next couple of weeks they go on some kind of winning streak, get us a little bit more excited to start talking about them or some of the players. But yeah, there's really just been nothing good to talk about.